Hmm. Hey, Colin, can you hear me? Checking to see if you can hear me.
Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
My hair's not that great, so I don't want to go on camera, but I can if you want.
Your choice. I just want to make sure that we can have this for posterity.
Yes. You've taught me many things, and one is be ready to be recorded. Like, why not?
So, what happened? What's the beef?
What happened was is I got into the meeting, and I've got a kind of a new mindset of my presence in the group, right? It's around these fair conversations, and we don't have any framework for our conversations. And as you know, that's part of our work to try to figure out what works well. But I've noticed in Sunday, and not so much Open's still moderated by Doug, but he doesn't really try to make it anything unless he, wants to and everybody agrees to, kind of a thing. Like everything's open, right? So, that may happen, but not intentionally. But on Sunday, I think he's trying to, and it's not about Doug, and it's not what I say about Doug, whether it's good or bad. It's just, what seems to be happening. And that's kind of the meta level. Like, wouldn't it be nice if we could track the emergence, if there is an emergence of our collective intelligence and stuff like this? And that's kind of, I think, to what level we record, like scientists, our experiments of what we're doing, or how much we just sort of let it.
Colin. So can I actually get the facts of exactly what happened?
Yes, please. So in essence, that's my mindset. So what I'm saying this for is because I'm not willing to be pulled into any stuff that's ridiculous. And I've learned long ago to let the religion.
Right, but what exactly happened, Colin? What happened?
Okay, well, what exactly happened was that Doug challenged me later on and says, well, why are you even here? And this isn't the first time he's done that. So, that's very confrontational.
He said that after you did what?
Well, after he just doesn't understand, and he thinks that I'm actually trying to cause harm. I think that's what I'm getting that impression.
Right, but what did you actually do that provoked him to say that?
Well, I think I defended myself somewhat. So I think maybe interrupted. So maybe something like that.
You interrupted him or somebody else?
Well, I could have interrupted any number of people. But
repeatedly,
but the point,
or one time?
I would say repeatedly.
Okay. I've seen you do that. Yes.
Yeah. No, well, I'll be silent for a long time too. I only speak when I feel like it's necessary. So, and that was the thing. Like, it did become about me. And when I left, I said, I think Doug ejected me. I'm not sure, but he said he said some things like quite nasty analogies. And I said, well, look, Doug, I said, because he said, I wasn't picking up on the signal that it wasn't about me, it was about Barry. So, and since I wasn't able to pick up on that signal, he gave me a projective analysis of what kind of a person I might be, right? And I find that very,
okay, so before you get there, what I hear is somebody spoke, or a number of people spoke, you interrupted them repeatedly, and then he said something that I can't quite yet figure out, and then there seems to have been an ejection event where he tossed you out of the group.
Well, this stuff I'm talking about is all recorded. So let's talk about what wasn't recorded.
Yet, so I'm still trying to figure out what happened, because
well, I don't know if we'll ever see it, because it's been like since before February, I haven't seen any tapes come out since before February, March, April.
Yeah, I don't know when the last one is. I know I've seen a few in the last 2 or 3 months, but not every one.
No, maybe one in February came out. But you know, I trust Doug. If he says he's going to put him out, he's going to put him out. I don't question it. I'm just, it's inconvenient.
Did
So
anybody say don't record this, or is it assumed that this was recorded?
I no, I think Barry mentioned to record stuff. But anyway, it's not, I don't think recorded or not is an issue. So the deal is that at the very beginning, Barry started getting very, very, very like yelling at me, telling me things that he would wish would happen, and to me, and basically wanting me to be out of the GCC and out of his life. So, you know, he was really, really irate. Like, I mean, like, kick him out of the restaurant irate.
Who was there when Barry did this?
Heiner and Doug and Alex.
So nobody else, just the four of you?
Yeah. And I don't know if you know, Heiner's been working with Barry, and Barry's been working with Doug. So maybe they got a great relationship, and maybe Barry thought this would be a good time to lay it out. But it was pretty violent, and it set the mood for the whole thing for me. So yeah, I had reason to interrupt because it became focused on me. And at the very end, I said, well, if this isn't about me, then maybe I shouldn't be here. And so it was conflict resolution bonanza. It was some type of a format in Doug's head. I'm sure Doug has some kind of good intention, what he's trying to do, but it is not coming across well from me. You know, that's for sure. And if he's going to do conflict resolution between me and Barry, or, you know, ask Barry, because I said what I wanted to know is, I want to know what is Barry's complaint? Because I've heard before he says I bully and something else. And, you know, we have that on tape, and that's pretty interesting, that tape. I've looked that over quite a bit. And why does he keep persisting? And he knows he's poking at me and stuff like this. And he says, well, he wants to experiment with me and learn from me, right? So he's brought this on, my anger, because he doesn't care what I think. And then he turns around and says, well, yeah, and it comes, then if I get upset and try to hold him to something, he's just skipping down the road, like pushing my button. Like, how angry can he make me to make me, you know, I think he's trying to provoke me to make me lose. And it really doesn't mean that to me, much to me, because I'm more focused on this fair conversation thing, even though, you know, I shouldn't be my own lawyer here. The point is that this like everything that I've been doing has been digressing one step back, just to saying, like, if people can't have a fair conversation. And I do appreciate you, Sam, because you really do make an effort to make sure that people have consensus. And when you say that that's what you want, and I'm not saying that you always look for consensus. I'm sure when you're in charge of something and something has to be done, then you can give out orders. Like, that's the irony of the situation. And because I know that restraint, it gives me a lot of respect for you. And when you and me make mistakes in this weird, you know, GCC gas that we breathe, because this is not normal gas. Like when you and Stuart, is it Stuart?
Graham,
yeah, Graham and Kayla were talking. You know, Graham was saying, well, why don't you just, you know, tap him on the shoulder and have him take a break, right? There may be some merit in what he's saying, but at the same time, he doesn't realize that we're not working under the same normal, I would say, expectations. Like, it's really is an experiment. And it's because of that freeness and anybodyness that you have to learn to deal with. Because, you know, I'm used to dealing with people that are pretty much trained to pay attention to what they're doing. And then I have a lot of friends too, who, you know, they come in every variety. I've got a really good friend who challenges me. You know, I don't want to make any comparisons, but it's represented in the group.
Okay, so can I ask a bit more? So when
Sure.
this happened, when Doug either challenged you or said, you know, why are you here? Did anybody speak up at that point, or was everyone else silent?
No, I think that there's I understand, and I actually agree with it. Like, Doug said that I like to hear myself talk. Well, that's kind of not true. I'm against being recorded, against being on camera. Would rather people look at my work and my ideas than, you know, I'm not trying to sell who I am, right? And they go into these big, so I think I'm a little bit different than a lot of the people in the touchy-feely part of the group. And I think you have that and I don't. Am I answering your question? Who else?
I
No,
was,
no, who else? Nobody else spoke up for me. And what I'm trying to say is that I think that there is an air and an atmosphere
Hmm.
of people being frustrated. And I think we've expressed that, you know, Jazzwinder's expressed it about people going in circles, and you know, we have this common complaint, and it is very deep in me as well. And most of the things that I do is say, okay, if you're gonna specialize on something, then put it into a show, right? And we'll do the meditation thing. If I want meditation, I'll show up. I'll probably show up to support jazz for that, right? That's pretty, you know, cool. Even if I don't do it, I do my meditation a different way. If jazz tells me my meditation is no good, then that's, now I don't want to get into another conversation, but I don't want to get into battles of whose meditation is more effective. If I'm not appreciated for the fact that I have mindfulness and I don't do that kind of meditation. So this is the conflict in the group when there's no focus, and the frustration of repeating without agenda. So
okay,
that seems
can
to
I
be,
ask?
and so Heiner was actually, I just wanted to add this part about Heiner, because Heiner was saying, well, you talk and talk and talk and talk. Well, yes, I can talk a long time. That's not my intention. My intention is to figure things out and work and jam, right? It's, you know, I would rather prepare and put out a report, but come to find out, this is how it happens. You're on the ball, you get inspired, you meet people, whatever. These people I can be friendly with, but they're not my friends. If we want to start talking about lewd comments of things like that, we could push pause and talk about some stories that we have personally. You know, but I'm not going to do that here, right? So it's a matter of having that mindfulness. So yeah, Heiner was bitching about, again, like he does, as you've heard him saying, and I agree with him. And I hate to be the guilty party, but at the same time, I think there is ways out of this, and having bad faith conversations that are manipulated is not the way to do it. And so, you know, and at that point, you know, I feel like Heiner's coming in on me. He says, why don't you just shut up? He says, you know, that's not the first time he told me. Doug told me to go fuck off several times, although it doesn't seem that way because he's a
Oh,
lawyer.
you told me that.
Yeah, well, of course, but I apologize because, you know,
I remember that.
but I've never heard. Judge says, no, I was saying fuck you, like as in you and the people. But no, Heiner was laughing. Barry might have said, say it again. Yeah, and then Doug said, fuck you again. And that was the end of the show. And that's one of my complaints about manipulation. Doug will run the show up to the end, and then he'll download something on you, and then, okay, everybody go. Like there's no channel to have any resolution after Doug
Certainly
speaks.
sounds like a fun session. I hope he posts it. I will definitely.
Yeah. Well, the deal is, I think that putting these back channels that we're doing is releasing pressure. And Heiner said, well, you put too much stuff. I said, look, Heiner, I didn't say it to Heiner, but look, if I have something to send to you, Heiner, I'll email it to you. That's how I know Heiner works. Heiner works from email. I don't expect to be working in the threads with Heiner. If I'm putting too much of my knowledge trail experiments in there and he can't follow them, and nobody's even going to ask me what I'm doing, it's like, man, I'm in my own league somewhere else, you know, doing something. And I think you could see what I was doing. You know, it's searchable. And it's not meant to be perfect. It's meant to be, you know, I'm painting, right? I'm painting these ideas out there.
Yep.
Anyway, I appreciate you talking with me, Sam. It helps. I'm not upset about it any more than the frustration that builds out of the fact I think that the initial vision of what I thought the GCC is tearing apart.
Well, I think the lack of structure, lack of focus, lack of agreements, inevitably, in my mind, would lead to this. And so it's just been a matter of time. So
and that's what I hope your friend realizes, Graham, because, you know, I spoke to him a little bit in the background. I said, no, we don't have to have a chat about it. It's okay. It's all good. But I just want you to realize that we're not, you know, because I wanted him to know that, and I think I mentioned some stuff to you too, because I think I was a little bit irked when that happened. But then I calmed down because, you know, it's, if people are reasonable, you can talk to them. Right.
Yep.
And I'm not getting that from some of the members, and I don't need it. I'm able to disassociate from the members and still treat them as equals in the group. And
Well,
you
that's
know,
good.
yeah, no, I've said that. In fact, Alex and I I don't know if you realize the barn raising this week and the after show. I think Alex and I, made some good strides in, I won't say burying the hatchet, but realizing that there's no fruit in him chasing after me because he's got a different interpretation that I have. And in no way was I ever trying to block him. That's the deal, right? You want to ask yourself, are you blocking anybody from doing anything?
Right.
You can give them comments. You can spit out a lot of stuff. They say, hey, you're noisy. Well, they can do one or two things. They can say, I want to leave this group, or they can say the group is this guy too noisy. That's why we made the banter channel, right?
Exactly.
So we had a place to put that. So it's like, maybe if I go to Africa and dig a hole like 50 feet deep, then Doug will listen to me.
I don't know, but okay. So,
well, I'm
what
just
would
saying,
you-
like, how far can you regress, right?
So from this conversation, when you proposed this conversation, what were you hoping would be accomplished?
Actually, just like the conversation we have with Jazz, I'd rather talk about technology if you want to know what I hope gets accomplished. And that was one of my presentations. What
No,
we
this
talk about.
conversation, you and me, the one-on-one right now.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm talking about the time that we're spending. I would rather spend on talking
I know we
technology.
would rather that, but we spoke about this morning's.
Well, how many times have we
event.
spoke? How many times have we spoke, Sam? And how many has it been about Jazz or Alex or this fuckety stuff instead of, actually talking about something that matters to me?
Yeah, we could do that, but
Yeah.
I didn't think that was the ostensible.
No. But I'm just answering your question honestly. I don't know what to expect out of this. Like you said, there's no rules, there's no guideline. We went through this a long time ago with Rule 0 when Alex started going off on me and telling the group that I was harassing him when his brother passed away and all this nonsense garbage, like as if I would have any interest whatsoever in harassing anybody for any reason. Right?
Yeah.
I'll defend myself, yes, but I'm not going to. The only harassing I was doing to Alex was trying to involve him in Coggle.
Okay, so let me ask this. Is there any action you want me to take out of this conversation?
No, not at all. You
Okay.
can come. I would like to know if there's anything that you have for retrospect. Yeah.
Well,
But
I would have to watch that video first before I have any real view on it, because right now I don't have the facts really around it other than what you've given me.
yeah,
And
well,
just in interest of transparency, Barry also texted me a bit, but I haven't spoken to him about it.
well, the thing with Barry is like he was really upset. And when I did interrupt, it was when Barry said, what was the advice that he would get? He had to go seek professional advice on what to do with this situation because he didn't know what to do with somebody that he just couldn't reach, right? So for some reason, because I'm not interested in what he has to say, for some reason he thinks I have a duty to listen to him and learn from him. And I don't. And in fact, I tried a few times. And after that, I just asked him for a simple definition and I got into another long-winded thing. And I said, look, either you have a claim what a soul is or you don't. That's exactly what I opened this chat for. Everyone's answered the question. Well, I'm not even making a claim and there's a soul. So we just spent 20 minutes of you yip yapping when you're not even making a claim. Right? So it was a total waste of time. And that, I think, premise is why it's so important to know what the premise is. Barry has a lot to give. So I really would hate to see him ditch the group because he's pretty clever. At the same time, I think he has some problems taking criticism and he has some anger issues. And when he dishes out the criticism, he doesn't seem to be able to take it back. Like he takes great offense, especially when he thinks it's someone he can berate, which is my experience. And actually, I don't even think that our first berating was me talking about his stuff. It was when I mentioned about theory of mind, he freaked right out because I think he thought, here, this is kind of meta. I think he thought that I was trying to put sliders on a mixing board to diagnose somebody, which would be a bad thing to do to somebody. I'm not a doctor. The slider on the board. So anyway, That's, if that was what he was thinking, I was being arrogant and thinking that I could, and maybe it's really close to what he's involved in too. So maybe it triggered him somehow. I don't know. But after that moment, which wasn't recorded, I think that was the 12th or whatever,
Hmm.
he basically did what he did today that other people witnessed. But he did it with the words, I don't know what I'm doing. I have no right to be working on this. And
I
I'm
meaning Colin.
I'm a disgrace. And he hung up and left that call. That's why I wish so much you can pull that out of the bits and bytes.
Hmm.
But
Are
anyway,
you talking about what he did in that 7 or 8 hour marathon session?
no. That was different. That was me. See, I'm a curious guy. And
Wait. So when
okay,
did he do this hang up event that you, was that just
that
today?
was no, that was that was the day he said he wasn't even there. And Ty's watched that happen in the chat. Like, I waste so much time. He didn't even remember he was there. Like, if you're going to tell somebody and yell at them, at least you can do is remember doing it.
Okay. All right, Colin. So if I've got no action, I'll take this.
No.
If or when Doug posts the video from today, I will watch it. It sounds like there will be some moments that are worth watching there.
I'm telling you,
And
man.
if I have any thoughts out of it, I will share those thoughts.
Yeah. Well, we'll just know that, again, I think the triggering, I don't want to get into diagnosing people, but I would like to see the GCC move towards what barn raising foundations
Hey,
is. And
I've been trying
that's,
for 3.5 years. So
and
evidently I'm not doing it very well, but
no, I appreciate what Doug's doing. Don't get me wrong. I think there's a place for that. I just don't think it's directed really well as a group. I think it's a Doug initiative, and I don't think he's screening his clients, because I'm not one of them.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
So let me go watch it when he posts it. And just to be clear, since this is on record, do you mind sharing this with GCC?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
By all means. All right. Thanks, Sam. And yeah, no, I had a great day today. I was with my grandson, and we went for a walk and looked, and walk slow so we can look and see everything, right?
You
His
know the
head's going
standard
left.
thing they say about grandkids?
What's that?
If I'd known the grandkids would be this great, I would have had them first.
Yes. Well, he's 14 months now, and he is just sparking alive. Like, we play with the light switches, and he'll flip his head and look at the light like he's getting it, right? And I'm
Magic.
doing the numbers with them, 1, 2, 3, 4. And
Mhm.
actually, I heard an interesting thing today, just watching the podcast with Dark Horse. And Heather Hastings is into synesthesia.
Hmm.
And although I don't think they could remember my poster boy for the GCC, Daniel Tennant, is it? The boy with the incredible brain that, could recite pi and saw all the numbers. Although apparently they beat his record. But anyway, I won't talk about how Daniel saw a landscape. This other guy was using memory devices, making stories, breaking it down, but still 111,000 digits. Like, I don't care what kind of story you're making. That's a lot of digits. Guinness World Book of Records, 111,000. Anyway, so
All right.
so the whole point about what we might do, I think we're getting off on this the story about the grandchildren and 14 months and how they're, and it is a very exciting thing. And I was feeling all that love while I'm hearing this noise in my head, and it really was Doug did attack it straight on. I don't think Doug is I don't want to criticize Doug for not trying to do a good job. I think it's really difficult with the constraints that you're given in that kind of a format. That's what I think. So, and so unless everybody is already kind of half made up, it's not going to work. Like, you can't have any, like the constraints I think Doug's puts on that space make it very unrealistic for people. It's not a courtroom, right? And I don't think he's ever been in a courtroom, he says. So I guess that's a bad analogy. I can't hear you.
I thought he was an attorney.
He is, but I don't think he's ever been in the courtroom. I think right from the beginning, he's been fighting for people who need attorneys and trying to, keep people out of needing attorneys. And
Okay.
I guess, anti-lawyer. But yeah,
Okay,
no,
Colin. Well,
I was very disappointed. Again, because I am really bringing myself into a mindset of being focused on what it is that I can contribute to this. And then, beyond this, I'm thinking about, John Keldon's conversation community, as well as Dig Life, and as well the Metacogs. I'm not putting a lot of time into those. I've got other things on the go, but I really would like to feel like the GCC is a playground where we could all actually play with our ideas, as bad as they may be, instead of just kicking everybody. And I'm sorry if people bring up religion or whatever, and I say, show me the money, but I don't think anybody's bringing religion as solutions. So I don't know what the deal is anyway. Like, if people want to have a spiritual day, have at it, but just let us know. So, if it's maybe Taoism, I might take part. Right. I think that stuff's pretty cool. If it's Catholics, probably not.
no. My view is Taoism is not a religion, but that's my view.
Well, I mean,
I know what you mean.
yeah,
I think I
religion.
know what you mean. Okay.
It's a good
Anyway,
substitute, and that's probably why I don't mind.
it is spiritual, however.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
All
spiritual
right,
we
Colin.
have. Thank
So
you.
I will look for the posting when it's available. And if there's any other thoughts you have on it, correspond with me on text or messenger.
I
Other
just
than
think
that, if you've got no other actions that you're requesting, then I will just do those things.
well, I'm sorry it took so much of your time this evening, and I think with your involvement with what's going on, it's good for you to get it from the horse's mouth.
No, it's good to hear it. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
And everybody else too. Okay. Talk
All
to you
right.
later. See ya.
Thanks, Colin. Talk to you
See ya.
later. Bye-bye.